In just 5 years from now, women will control 38% of investable assets. That's $30 trillion in financial power. Yet today, half of women investors manage their money without an advisor. It's kind of like a professional sports team without a coach. You have a desire to win, but no guidance on how to get there. So is the wealth management industry ready to step up, or will it sit on the sidelines as the SHEconomy takes center stage? We're going to break that all down for you and a lot more right now on UBS Trending. Hi, everybody, and welcome to UBS Trending. I'm Anthony Pastore. Thanks again for being with us. Joining me in the studio is my guest, Bree Williams, Global Head of Advisory Solutions and Wealth Intelligence at our partners, State Street Global Advisors. Nice to have you back, Bree. Good to see you.
My pleasure, Anthony. Thanks for having us back.
Every year we get you in here to talk about the latest results that you do with massive surveys, and you're taking data and you're talking to different demographics. In a recent report or survey that you did, you looked at millennials, you looked at Gen X, you looked at hybrid investors, and you also looked at women. And since it's Women's History Month in March, we're going to focus on the women's aspect of it. But there's a lot in the report that you did. I'm very impressed with how much you and your team have put together. So staying with the women segment, as I mentioned in the intro, women will have 38% of investable assets by the year 2030. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think this number should be a surprise to anybody who's been paying attention for the last couple of years that we've been talking, and we've done our Own Your Worth research here at UBS. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to just get a sense from you, in 2025, knowing that number, looking more broadly, what do you see as the most important things that women should be knowing, and what you sort of saw in your results that you did in your surveys?
Sure. So I think the wealth transfer, coupled with the changing demographics, creates this perfect storm of a lot of money in motion, and it equals opportunity both for the investor and for our industry in our efforts to support them and achieve whatever is on their financial objectives list. With women in particular, you have also longevity as a key factor when you think about trends and realities in planning for the living well, living long journey. With the differences between the genders, there are a few, but there's more interesting differences between the gender itself, whether you think of it through a generational lens, and then when you add in some other psychographic details on top of that. So for our industry, it's an opportunity to recognize the dimensional differences on her path to the bottom line. It's an opportunity to continue to lean into this more natural outcome orientation that she has, but it's a chance to really prove the value, because you mentioned an important statistic when you opened this up about half of women being unadvised. That's a combination of women that have the hybrid nature, which is their feet is in both worlds. They have a direct investment account and they have a traditional advisory relationship. So that's about 25% based on our population that we had surveyed. And then you have women that are doing it themselves.
Yeah, it is an interesting statistic. And I think you could break even down more for us within that number what you heard from some of the women that you surveyed, and because it goes to the question of what does the disconnect mean for our industry and for our financial advisors who are sitting in their offices, knowing that 50% of the women out there that are going to control $30 trillion in a couple of years, what does it mean for them?
So for us as an industry, we've come a long way. Mm-hmm. I think the bar has been raised on meeting women where they are.
And by the way, let me just interrupt you one second. Thanks to the work that you're doing, and we're doing here, I know Carrie Shuffman, who runs our Own Your Worth women's segment, it's amazing that over the last couple of years, we have seen more information and more knowledge passed over to financial advisors about the women's segment. Sorry to interrupt you, Bree. I just wanted to say kudos have to be where they're deserved.
Sure. Well, the industry should take credit and celebrate those wins. They're important. You also have women rising to the occasion. Mm-hmm. So this isn't just about an inheritance. This is about women as income earners. This is about women as financial decision makers. So the influence is significant. They are taking that seat at the financial table. So the opportunity to partner with a financial advisor is about justifying the investment investment that they make in future them. So our ability to show the value beyond the investment management returns, which is table stakes and important, to looking at the service element. And that's where you see some differences between the generations. So boomer segment, clearly getting closer to working on the retirement that they saved so hard for. So income strategies in retirement are a priority. You also have a generation with the boomers looking at roots and wings for the rising generation. So estate planning and a focus on legacy, which requires inclusion, not only with open money conversations at home, but bringing more people to the table holistically with the financial advisor relationship. Where on the other end of the spectrum, your millennials still prioritize retirement, even though it's farther away, but they're leaning into the advisor relationship with an expectation it will be collaborative. They have a hands-on nature to the approach, but they are using services that are a little bit more about the near term, private banking, insurance, opportunities for debt strategy management. So it's a good opportunity for them to develop some nice habits. And as you think about your older millennials who are running into their 40s, a chance to develop and deepen that relationship as they run into hitting those peak income earning years.
Yeah, what I love about that last chart that we just had up, and it showed that women, by a pretty large percentage, were more concerned about retirement planning than men. And I said to you right before we started, I wonder if that's because, you know, the information is out there that women generally are going to live on average longer than their male counterparts, and maybe they realize the importance thanks to educational pieces like this, where like I may have to, you know, invest another 10 years past my partner's death, you know, or maybe we get divorced and I need to take care of myself. So I think it's really important and a really powerful statement that chart shows retirement planning is important to women.
I absolutely agree. There's also one other fact that's a part of that equation. So longevity, yes, and sorry guys, women will generally outlive you when it comes to the gender race to 100-year life.
We've tried to come to accept that, by the way. It's not an easy thing to swallow, but we've accepted it.
No, but also the race to your pot of gold when you reach the ability to draw down on your retirement savings is different between the genders. There's a very real retirement wealth gap. And it's about, you know, even if you start out at the same time, same job, you have more career breaks for women as they tend to step in and out of the workforce for family. That means less money is being put to work from an investment standpoint, which on average is around a 74%. You know, is the total pie versus the man.
That's a big
and that's
number.
It's a big gap of funding that's different between the genders when it comes time to retire when you want to retire. So I think there's mindfulness around that. So how do you mitigate longevity risk? And what can you do advantageously to maximize what you have to work with to achieve what is on your financial list?
Yeah. I also want to break down the individual generational aspect of different women. So you've got the boomers, the Gen Xers, and the millennials. And you look at things like their investment preferences and their risk tolerances. Based on the trends that you've seen historically, what do you see as each generation? What are they investing in right now?
Sure. So all three generations and women in general tend to look for a more holistic approach. So that underscores the nature of comprehensive experience. So it's not just about the feels, but it is also about financial returns. So give her the best of both worlds, which is the returns she needs to achieve those financial objectives, but also the services that can help her go into a more holistic experience, which is where the value really lies. Right. So we mentioned with the boomers, the estate planning services, the multi-phased retirement income strategies might make sense, especially if she's younger than her current husband. We see a lot of that still in our boomer segment. She may not retire when he retires and may work a little bit longer. Retirement isn't necessarily sitting in a beach chair with a pina colada anymore with your feet up. Some people do a passion project, work in philanthropic circles, or take a different job that they're really excited about, but it's not about as much money as you can take home in your paycheck anymore. With Gen X women in particular, in terms of their allocation, it's about ensuring they can get it all done. And there is some concern there because they're not putting their oxygen mask on first.
Right.
So with competing financial priorities, saving for one's retirement, likely responsible for some form of elder care of loved ones in the family. Many Gen Xers still have children under the age of 18 and some young adult children that have come back long after that 18-year agreement has expired. So they're putting themselves in the bottom of the who you pay. category. So advice can go a long way to organizing that and taking some of that stress off the
Yeah,
table.
that sandwich generation kind of aspect for Gen Xers, like you said, they have aging parents and kids, some adults, that they're trying to take care of. And for women, I know it's additionally more difficult. As you said, they always put their masks on last.
Yes.
And, that's obviously a personal preference, but when you're looking at your finances, clearly we need to continue to encourage women to take care of themselves and own their worth, like we say. So let me ask you, Bree, as we're kind of wrapping up, knowing what you've known now for the last many years that you've been doing this research and educating not only clients but also financial advisors, how do you see the future of wealth management and the advice that is being given now that we've seen all the results and the sort of the evolution of women owning their own worth and respecting that they need to focus on their own finances, after many years of maybe thinking that wasn't an important thing for them to do?
Sure, I think this decade's a transformational
Yeah.
one, both for the individual investor, women in particular taking center stage, really owning the seat at the table that they have chosen to occupy. And we need to meet them where they are. So meeting clients where they are in the moment and aligning the service strategy is really important. So for women, it's about leaning into what they want and need and not being afraid to ask for it. For our industry, I see 3 opportunities. Can we continue to adapt? Do more in how we transform, how we support female investors. We also have, as an industry, the opportunity to continue to evolve. I think that's sharpening the value proposition and to provide the fact that this is a worthy investment. Probably the best investment you can make is the one in future you. But we have to back that up with the evidence of this being a good ROI for them. And then the third is taking that further leap forward and transform this client service model, our business models, which might include looking at the pricing strategy, might include looking at the advanced planning services and really leading with that to position ourselves as a comprehensive solution for those that do see the value and are willing to make that investment in themselves.
Yeah, and I'll be so curious as the years progress. We're going to be, I'm sure, looking at the next generation, Gen Z, who are now the older section of that generation are really entering the workforce. It'll be really interesting to see if these values that have now begun to be passed down from grandmothers to mothers, aunts, and to their daughters, nieces, granddaughters keeps going down the line to the next generation, and maybe these numbers will be even bigger where they're working with advisors and they're focusing on their retirement at young ages. I'm so into the idea of seeing how it generationally continues to evolve.
Now, I believe that if we continue to provide an inclusive environment that's comfortable, that no matter what type of experience an investor has had in the financial realm, all questions are great questions. Education is powerful, and it can help you make prudent decisions about how your money can work just as hard for you as you do for it.
Absolutely. Bree, thank you again for coming by. It's always good to see you. We have you every March, it feels like for many years now, and it's always great to see the latest information and the results from the surveys that you're doing with women. So thanks for doing that.
Our pleasure, and thank you to UBS for supporting your women advisors and the female investors that they serve.
Yeah, it's a really wonderful partnership between our two firms, so thank you, Bree. And thank you all for joining us. For more information on everything coming out of UBS, particularly with our Own Your Worth Women's segment, and of course, from our great partners like SSGA, you can visit our Insights website at ubs.com/views. Plus, you can follow UBS on social media. We're on LinkedIn and Facebook. Plus, you can check out all the UBS Studios content at UBS Trending on Instagram. And as always, if you have any questions about what Bree and I spoke about today, we do encourage you to speak with a financial advisor. Until next time, I'm Anthony Pastore. We wish you a great rest of your day. And remember to keep your eyes on what's trending. See you soon, everybody.